Alright guys, hopefully you're having a good day so far. I just thought I'd get things going on this lovely Wednesday morning. Anyways, before I do this video on average rate of change, the one thing I want you to understand is this is actually something that's not even taught in IM2 and IM3. It's usually taught in Trig Pre-Calc class, and it's kind of cool that it pops up in the middle of Khan Academy. But anyways, as you can see right here, here's basically some practice problems I'm going to do. There is a couple videos you can watch, but again, you don't have to watch these videos unless you really need to. Go right to the practice problems and see if you can do them. Okay? And again, you don't even have to do that. Remember, you can pick anything you want, guys, that I've assigned to you, basically. Like if you want, instead of doing that, you want to just practice adding, and look for the pencil marks. Those are the practice problems. The arrows are your videos. Okay? You want to practice subtracting, which some of you frankly need to do. You want to just go straight to a conglomeration of both adding, subtracting. You could do that. But anyways, just go through Khan Academy little by little. Go through the practice problems that I assigned you. The videos are optional, although it's nice to watch those videos. Get extra points that way. Okay, enough said there. So what is average rate of change all about? Well, average rate of change is basically, let's say I had a quadratic, as I do right here, and from one point to another point, if I connect with a straight line, I can figure out the slope of that line, right? That's your rate of change, your average rate of change over that interval. So if you remember slope is always, if you remember, m equals the change in y, y2 minus y1, over change of x, x2 minus x1. And that's all we're going to do here. The only trick is to find the y's, we have to plug in the x. So for example, if I want to check the first one here, I'm going to call this one the x2, this will be my x1. Basically, remember, you always go left to right, and your x2 is always where you end up with, x1 is where you begin with. But anyways, I'm going to plug in 1. 1 squared minus 1 would give me 1 minus 1, which is 0, right? Let's plug in the negative 3. Negative 3 squared, remember, you put a parentheses when you square a negative. Minus 1 would be 9 minus 1, which would be 8. And so therefore, following my formula, I know I'm going to do 0 minus 8 over my x2 was 1 minus my x1 was negative 3. See how I did my y2 minus my y1, my x2 minus my x1. And so I end up getting negative 8 over 4, which is negative 2. So this one, A, actually is my answer. That has a negative rate of change. If I tried these guys, I would most likely come up with positive rate of change for those intervals. Okay? So that's why the answer is A. And of course, you click to check it, and they'll congratulate you. If you miss it, though, check this out. Look at the next problem. You can always ask for a hint or watch the video related to it. I would start with the hint, and if that doesn't help, then I would go to the video. But anyways, they want the average rate of change of G, that's just as G, right, over this interval. So remember, where you end up with is x2, where you started was x1. I'm going to plug those in to get my y2, my y1. So my y2 is simply going to be plugging in the x2, 5. I'm going to get this. Oops, don't need an extra parentheses there. And so 5 minus 1 is 4. Squared is 16. The negative is outside the parentheses, So it does become negative 16 plus 5, which is negative 11. Okay, let's find our y1. Our y1 would be plugging in the x1. So I'm going to plug in negative 4 right there. So here's what I got. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. Squared is 25. But there's that negative that makes it negative. And I get negative 20. Now, the other reason why I wanted you to watch this video, by the way, is I want you to know that on the state test, you're not allowed to use your own calculator. You have to use a calculator on the computer. And if you notice right up here, that's where you can click to get the calculator. Now, I'm pretty sure I did this on the calculator. Let's see if my memory serves me right. See how I took negative 11. That was our y2, correct? Right there. And I'm going to minus negative 20. That gives me positive 9. Again, this is y2 minus y1. And then, hopefully you agree that x2 being 5, if I minus x1, which is negative 4, that becomes a positive 9, right? Because minus becomes a plus. And that's why I divided our answer 9 by 9. And I know the rate of change is a positive 1. So we know that from one point to the next, it's going at a nice 45-degree angle, the slope of 1. That's our average rate of change. And then you would type that in, of course, right here. And then you would press check, and you would get it right. Okay? But guys, I want you to make a goal of practicing with this online calculator. It's kind of clunky. You're going to make mistakes with it. Notice you're limited to, you do have parentheses, which I recommend you always use. This is your power button. Here's your square root button. But as you can see, you're pretty limited on what you can do with this calculator. You have sine, cosine, tangent. You have sine inverse, cosine inverse, and tangent inverse as well. And you have your own separate pi button, as you can see. You have an answer button, which kind of comes in handy, as I've shown you in the past. But you need to practice using this calculator. It's a little clunky, you know, clicking with your mouse and stuff like that to use it. The more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. Okay? Now let's see, will it be worth me to do one more problem? Sure, why not? Over which interval does f have a positive average rate of change? Okay, so there is the correct answer. Now what you would do, of course, is you would plug in. So let's just go ahead and do that right now. So remember, where you end up at, 2 is your x2. Where you started out is your x1. We're going to plug in 2 and 1. So we're going to define y2. We're basically going to do f of 2 in this case, because x2 is 2. And we're going to get 2 squared plus 10. 4 plus 10 is 14. Define y1. We're going to do basically f of negative 1. We're going to plug in that negative 1 in there. So we're going to get this. Negative 1 squared plus 10. 1 plus 10 is 11. So, what is our rate of change? It's going to be y2 minus y1 divided by our x2 is 2 minus our x1 is negative 1. Watch your signs, guys, because a minus negative makes a plus. So notice I get 3 over 3, which is 1, which is a positive rate of change. All these other ones, if you tried it, guys, you will get either 0 or a negative for a rate of change. That's why that one's the only correct one, as you can see by the check mark. Okay? And I'm going to shorten the video by not doing that one, but hopefully you get the right idea. That's the calculator work for it. So we're just going to end the video here. So here's some key points, guys. Why would I want you to do Khan Academy with me? You get to practice with the online calculator, get better with it. And you need that to do that for the state test. Bottom line. You got to get used to typing in answers and not just picking multiple choice questions all the time. Okay? And Khan Academy gives you that variety. Some of them, of course, are multiple choice. Some of them are not. Okay? So, I hope you watched this video. Sorry it went a little over time, but there's a lot of information in it, right? And just remember, average rate of change, you don't even have to learn, but this is something you're going to learn anyways in Trig Pre-Calc. You might as well prepare yourself for that as well. Okay? But anyways, please try Khan Academy. Remember that you don't have to do everything in order. You don't have to do everything in order. Pick and choose something that seems kind of different or interesting to you. All right? But anyways, I'll be sending you more videos, maybe one every day or so. So take care, guys. I miss you, and I'll see you around.